it's not just the payment providers, it's also the booking platforms like the Expedia, Booking, and so on. They always take something from your cake. So booking platforms can take up to 15% fees. And when people pay here with Bitcoin, they just can do it directly over our homepage. As soon as we got like bigger payments, so we have really like Lightning transaction with four-digit Lightning transactions, so between 1 and 10,000 euros. And then we realized the node management, if we do it ourselves, is pretty tricky. People are coming from all over, not just Germany, they come from all over the world. We have Lightning gadgets, like we have a Lightning jukebox where you can choose a song and then it gets played and you can pay it with the Lightning network. We have like even Bitcoin miners here, and you can really go there, you can see the warmth because we are heating our breakfast room here with Bitcoin miners. Last year we had 8.5% Bitcoin payments, which is pretty cool if you ask me for the first year. In my opinion, if you're not living your passion, then you're wasting your time.
Welcome to another episode of Stacking Sats, my new series devoted to sharing the stories of real people using Bitcoin products and services to stack sats. Today's episode features Mark from the Bitcoin Hotel, a family-run hotel in Germany that has stacked over 100 million sats for a whole set of Bitcoin-related products and experiences at their hotel using OpenNode and LNBits. Before we get into the episode, today's show is sponsored by Voltage. Voltage is the premier provider of Bitcoin and Lightning node infrastructure. Today's show is also sponsored by Stackwork. Stackwork is a Lightning-powered transcription tool that takes the best of AIs and humans to create better, faster, less expensive transcripts. To learn more about Voltage and Stackwork, you can click the links in the show notes. Mark, thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to talk about the Bitcoin Hotel, your journey to stacking sats through this, how it all works, and we have a lot to get into. But before we get into that, why don't we start off with your background? Tell me about your life before the Bitcoin Hotel. What were you doing? How did you get into Bitcoin?
Hey guys, I'm Mark from the Bitcoin Hotel. I'm blessed to be here in this wonderful podcast or in this video stream right now. So what was my journey before this Bitcoin Hotel? So I was living, I was actually in a retreat. So from 2017, 16 and 18, I was 3 years in South France. And I really lived really back to nature. So I had no smartphone. I don't had internet because I really was like, there was really like this voice in my heart which said, hey, you have to do something different, because before I was in this retreat, I was a DJ, and this was a really high time preference mindset lifestyle. And so this was fulfilling my ego, but it was not really fulfilling my soul. And so really I went all this way to this in the retreat, and this was really great for me because I reunited with the nature, and I lived a more simple lifestyle and more aware lifestyle, and also not so much on spending, on consuming. And this was really working great for me. And then I realized at some point, hey, there are also other guys which are also like, they are humble, they are more conscious, they are not so much on consuming, and they are more aware and also maybe living a bit slower lifestyles. And those guys were Bitcoiners. And so the question for me was, what are they guys doing? What is this Bitcoin? Why do they have similar mindset like I have? And this was my journey into the Bitcoin rabbit hole. This was around 2018. And since then, it catched me. And when I realized about this concept of time preference, this was really the click moment. And then I realized that Bitcoin is really one of the biggest level we have in a more harmonious world or in a more disharmonious world. And I really realized that Bitcoin is not just money, it's so much more. It's a type of awareness. It can change everything, and you see it with the people when they come in contact with Bitcoin. Their values change, the way they think change, the way they act change. Everything changes, and Bitcoin is just so much more than money. It's a philosophy. It's a kind of awareness, and I'm really am blessed to have such a nice tool like Bitcoin. And this is like the background behind the Bitcoin Hotel. And at some point, everyone has like its own way of expression. Some guys, they write books, some guys, they make music. And for me, the most authentic way of expression was this hotel, because this is a family hotel which is already over 30 years old. And at the time of the retweet, retreat, not of the retweet, of the retreat, the hotel was not really part of my life. But after the retreat, I remembered, hey, there's also a hotel, and I started to work in the hotel, but it was not so flowing. But at some point I realized, hey, you can combine this hotel together with Bitcoin and create this great, nice Bitcoin hotel. And but it was not just a process of myself, it's the whole team. Like, you have to orange pill the guys around you, and my mother, my sister, we are doing it together, and also all the workers. And yeah, this is how everything started.
Amazing. So before you went through this retreat process, had you ever heard of the word Bitcoin? Did you know what it was, or were you, or you just didn't click with you exactly why it was important?
I heard it, but there was no interaction with Bitcoin. I just heard it, and it was just a word. Also, I did not really had an interest in financial things, or I did not even know what Bitcoin is. It was just like any internet thing or a trend or something like that. And yeah, there was no really interaction.
I see. And so the moment you kind of, it clicked for you was that understanding about time preference, right? That was the kind of first moment where you're like, aha, I have to, embed this into my life. And there's a lot of other people that are doing the same.
Yes, because I really had the pleasure to pretty soon after I got into this Bitcoin thing. I mean, I realized the values of those guys, and then I read the Bitcoin standard, and therefore also I don't had this shitcoin period. So I straight gone into the Bitcoin standard, and then I just was curious, because Seferdin is not starting with Bitcoin, he's starting with what is money, and this was also new for me. And also, like, in this retreat, everything was pretty awesome, but I was living alone. And if you live alone, it's pretty easy. But if you go in communities, then I realized that it's not so easy to live this lifestyle. But Bitcoin is really this tool which can bring this conscious lifestyle also into communities. That's also why I say Bitcoin is the tool which scales best on a spiritual level, because it really can give us back this spiritual lifestyle. And I I forgot the question, but
No, that's really good. And so I want to talk about the transition here from, being just a normal, fiat hotel you've been running for 30 years to then becoming the Bitcoin hotel. Talk me through how that transition happened, how you managed to convince everyone as a part of this hotel to, join you on this journey, and some of the early results you've had.
yes. So it all started here with a little meetup, and it was like during the Corona time, and we don't even had the chance to meet inside. So we just made a blab walk. This is something we meet here, and then we go and we just walk, and we call this blab walk. And it's pretty crazy, because now we have decentralized all over Germany. We have blab walks all over the place, because you can even do it without a location. So this was my first contact with the community. And then more and more guys from the community came here in the hotel, and also they had ideas, we had ideas, we made regular meetups. But it still was like not this Bitcoin hotel, it was still a fiat hotel, but we made Bitcoin meetups. And then at some point, I more and more orange pilled my sister and my mother. And when I told my mother, hey, there is a type of money where you get your money instantly, there's instant settlement, there is no fees, so no visas, no MasterCards, no PayPals, and you don't, and you are full sovereign of your money, so no PayPal can freeze your account. And when I told her this, then she was immediately orange pilled, because this is always the problem which you have as a hotel, because you always have intermediaries. And it's not just the payment providers, it's also the booking platforms like the Expedia, Booking, and so on. I don't know what platforms you have in Canada, but they always take something from your cake. So booking platforms can take up to 15% fees. And when people pay here with Bitcoin, they just can do it directly over our homepage. So Bitcoin is really a way for us to generate more direct bookings. Also, we don't have the payment providers. And then it was a no-brainer for my mother and my sister, and they understood it. And then we were more going into this Bitcoin thing, accepting Bitcoin, promoting Bitcoin. We even have a Bitcoin discount here. So if you pay with Bitcoin, you get a discount in the form of the actual inflation rate. So the inflation rate is now 8% here in Germany. If you pay with Bitcoin, you get an 8% discount. This is great incentives for the Bitcoiners to pay. And in the end, we still make profit because 8% discount for the customer is still better than 15% fees for the booking platforms. So both sides win. It's a win-win situation. And in the beginning, my mother and my sister, they still been a bit skeptical. And when we had the first big events here, so we don't just make little meetups, we also make like weekend events where the complete hotel is closed and we have conferences for 2 or 3 days. It's like a Bitcoin citadel. And then they got more in touch with the community and they realized, oh, these are so crazy people. I don't want to spend my time anymore with regular people. I just want to spend my time with Bitcoiners anymore. And this is what finally convinced them. And then we just, gone more in this Bitcoin hotel thing. And also lots of support came from the community. And we are really not doing this alone. It's more like a platform. And the community is really bringing great ideas in. We work with different artists who are collaborating with us, showcasing their art here in the hotel or developing gadgets for us. And it's really, this alignment with the community.
That's very cool. And I appreciate you walking through the differences in the amount of payments you're actually going to be able to generate from every booking. When you're earning in Bitcoin, you're basically earning all of it. And when you're earning in dollars, you have the MasterCard and Visa in the way, and then you have the booking platforms if people are coming through them up to, as you said, 15%, which can be that's a significant chunk of your earnings is now being redirected to third parties. And I imagine, is it true that all the Bitcoin people who are coming to pay in Bitcoin, these may be coming in from Twitter or organic sources within the community? Is that true today? Or what's the kind of like the makeup of your Bitcoin audience? Where are they finding you from?
Yes, so most come really from Twitter. And also we have in Germany it's called the 21 community. It's in English, it's 21. So we have like, it's like, this big German Bitcoin community. And everyone knows us in Germany. Also, we've been like in the biggest newspaper. We had TV reports. So Bitcoin is really also a great marketing tool because before Bitcoin, no one knew about Blochingen, as well as no one knew about El Salvador. And now everyone knows about Blochingen, everyone knows about El Salvador. People are coming from all over, not just Germany, they come from all over the world just to experience Bitcoin, because right now, Bitcoin is often this theoretical thing, but in real life, in the practice, there is not many places where you can live Bitcoin, where you can spend Bitcoin, and where you can meet other Bitcoiners. So this is really like, the idea is really to make Bitcoin touchable, to use it, to experience it, and to see it's working already. And Bitcoin is not just theoretical or in podcasts or in books.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a really cool marketing strategy too, because you get to call yourself now the Bitcoin Hotel. And there's a Bitcoin beach, and there's a Bitcoin island, and there's a Bitcoin this and that. And everyone who's kind of jumping in as like a first mover, every business or every initiative, they have this massive advantage of being like, we're the Bitcoin thing. And all the Bitcoiners go, if you want a hotel, you go to the Bitcoin Hotel. If you want to buy a new TV, well, this guy's making Bitcoin TVs, or whatever. Every individual merchant who's selling something can rebrand themselves almost as the Bitcoin thing, and immediately get this like rush of Bitcoiners now, and the number of Bitcoiners globally is in the tens, maybe hundreds of millions right now. So it's not insignificant, and it's really cool to see you guys making that work for you and work for your business. I want to talk about whether or not other businesses in Germany, in your local region, are they tuning into this? Are they seeing that you're having some success here? Are other hotels saying, "Oh, look at what these guys are doing. They're earning more money now. They got more attention. Maybe we should try the same thing." Or are they still kind of ignoring it?
So we have the first shops here around the hotel starting to accept Bitcoin, and it's really like spreading. So we have a coffee shop now, then we have a shop for where you can do your driver's license, and it's spreading, but it's still slow. But for me, I think personally, the first mover will be more like the small companies or the small shops, because I mean, we had like this big advantage of me having like this Bitcoin in the company, and I already had like all the background. So I was already here, this Bitcoiner, and other companies, they often have the problem. There is like no head, which is like a Bitcoiner or which has like the knowledge, because for lots of hoteliers, they don't really have a lot of time. So if you run a hotel, it's really a tough business, and you're just busy with your regular fiat hotel stuff, and so you don't have time to listen to podcasts or inform yourself. And also it's really like more a high type preference, yeah, type of business. And so I think the hotels are, yeah, I think they will be the last, but I will be surprised if they are the first. But in my opinion, I really think adoption comes from somewhere else, and the hotels, they will not be the first to start accepting Bitcoin.
Where do you think adoption comes from? Like when you think about how to spur on this kind of circular economy, we have two sides. We have like we need people spending Bitcoin, and then we need people accepting Bitcoin. Where does that kind of kick off? How do we start that system?
I mean, I would lie if I would say I have the answer, because I don't have the answer. All I can say is we need Bitcoin, but Bitcoin does not need us. So we can make the adoption faster when we make podcasts, when we make Bitcoin hotels. But the idea itself is so powerful that even without podcasts and without promoting it and without supporting it, Bitcoin will be coming more and more into our lives, because the idea is so great. But Bitcoin is a grassroots movement. So normally the more organic way of bringing Bitcoin into the world would be like from bottom up and not from top down, because Bitcoin is really for the plebs, it's really for the grassroots. And so we just have like small shops everywhere popping out, or meetups to create. And really what I can see, you have like those physical places like Bitcoin Beach or now here the Bitcoin Hotel. And what I always can see, around those physical places, the community starts to build. And then they start to meet up, they make events over there, and then ideas get created. And out of those ideas, companies build. And those companies are pushing it more and more. So maybe it's really about the beginning is accepting Bitcoin, then community starts to create around those hotspots, and then ideas start to pop out, and then all the other companies start to form, and so it's spreading.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of starting on the edges of the economy. It's like it's not happening with the giant national scale super chain business. It's the small businesses, the medium sized businesses that are operating on the edges of the economy that kind of kickstart these movements, and over time it kind of like eats into the rest of the economy. I want to make sure we spend a bit of time highlighting your tech stack. I think people are going to be curious. You're operating this hotel, you're accepting Bitcoin, you have these meetups. Talk to me about what you're using kind of underneath this Bitcoin hotel. What are you built on top of when it comes to Bitcoin products and services in order to accept payments?
Yes, so what we use right now is OpenNode. So we started here with BTC Pay Server, had our own node running, and been like this full self-sovereign hotel. But what we realized as soon as we got like bigger payments, so we have really like lightning transaction with four digit lightning transactions, so between 1 and 10,000 euros. And then we realized the node management, if we do it ourselves, is pretty tricky, because if you are the Bitcoin hotel, the payments have to work really smooth. You can't, it cannot be that the payment is not working, and we always had like problems. This is also like something you must be aware. If it's like bigger amounts over the lightning network, for us the solution was to just outsource it. So now we are at OpenNode. They take little fees. They take up to 0.5 up to 1% fees, but they do all the liquidity management for you. Also, you can swap direct into fiat if you need fiat to pay bills or something like that. And this is for us gives us the big advantage that we can focus on our business, and they are doing the liquidity management and everything. So payments here in the hotel are always done before arrival. So we don't really have a reception because we have a digital check-in. So you can directly check in with your smartphone. You can open the door with your smartphone, and also you can pay directly with your smartphone. If you don't want to do this, you can also get a key card. We have a terminal to check in here, and payment is always done before arrival. And then here we have the Satoshi bar. This is like where you can get drinks and something like that. And there we just have QR codes. And it is really like on trust for our customers. We trust them that they don't they don't make scammy things, and they pay their bills. So in our experience, this works pretty good, because if you buy a hotel room for, let's say, 100 euros, then you won't scam here on the Satoshi bar for a beer. So you will, they normally they pay their things, and then you just have QR codes, you can scan them, and then there is the price inside, and then you can pay. So this is for this side. And then also we have lightning gadgets, like we have a lightning jukebox where you can choose a song and then it gets played and you can pay it with the lightning network. Or we have a vending machine. This is one of the few vending machines in the whole world where you can get Bitcoin articles. You just can choose an article like Bitcoin candy or Bitcoin stickers or something like that, and then you can pay over the lightning network, and then out of the machine comes the products. And this is pretty cool also like for people who never experienced lightning, because they can really experience, try it out. And for the gadgets, we use LNBits in the background.
That's awesome. So for the jukebox and for any of the other kind of like on-site experiences and things you can do, you're using LNBits, and then for booking the actual hotel, you're using OpenNode, correct?
Exactly. And also we have the beer tap. I don't know, have you ever seen a beer tap? You can pay with Lightning and then beer comes out. This is pretty cool on conferences.
I haven't seen a lightning powered beer tap before, but I get the idea. Yeah, that is very cool. Have you found that, are people coming to this hotel and experiencing these Bitcoin, features and additional experiences for the first time? Or are you ever having people come in who don't know what Bitcoin is, then they go down for a beer and they realize, oh, there's this, I can pay with Lightning, whatever that is, and then they learn about Lightning and then maybe play a song on the jukebox? Or what does the flow look like for people who are coming to the hotel, and what kind of products and services they're using once they're there?
Yes, so we have like the Bitcoiners coming here, and they know already about everything. They've seen all the videos in the internet, they hear the podcast, and you don't even have to say hello because they know you. You don't have to say hello. And those are like the hardcore Bitcoin maxis coming here. But we also have like regular people who don't even know that this is the Bitcoin hotel. They just want to get a clean room. And also we have like lots of guests that are coming already for over 30 years or over 10 years. And those guys, they see it neutral. So when they walk around the hotel, we have lots of Bitcoin art here, and they just see it like as an art hotel. There is the white paper hanging, or there is a picture of Bitcoin hanging, and for them it's just art, it's neutral. But when they walk next to the things on a subconscious level, it triggers something about in them. So what we often experience is they come the first time, the second time, the third time, but on the third or fifth time, they start to ask questions. Oh, what is this white paper? And why is this called Satoshi bar? And what can you do here? And there is a Bitcoin ATM. And what can I do with the Bitcoin ATM? Can I buy some Bitcoin? Or they are start to really ask questions. Also, we have like Bitcoin themed rooms. And sometimes it's funny because sometimes if the Bitcoin themed rooms are not booked by the Bitcoiners, then regular people get the Bitcoin themed rooms. And this is always triggering funny situations. And so they really come in contact with Bitcoin. And we don't really had like negative experience. We had like neutral to pretty awesome experience feedbacks.
Very cool. You know, that reminds me of, I saw this tweet a while ago. It was talking about how people absorb information. And it was like, if you show someone a book and they read through it, I think a few pages of the book, and then you ask them what they remember from the book, they'll remember maybe like 10% or 15% of it. If you have them do it again, it's up to 30%. Again, it's up to 50%, 60%, 70%. You have people, read through the same thing or see the same thing, which is kind of what you're talking about here, many times. And that kind of exposure over time, the recall is much, much higher. People remember after the fifth time, oh, it's Bitcoin Hotel. Here's what Satoshi is. Here's what the white paper is. They remember these little things. But on the first time, maybe it, slips their mind. And there's a lot of people, I think, in the Bitcoin community who have experienced this firsthand. When they first learned about Bitcoin, they ignored it. And then they're like, I ignored it when it was like $2. And, now here it is at 2,000 or 20,000 or whatever dollars. And that's such a common thing to hear about, people saying, oh, I remember hearing about it, but I never did anything. But what you guys are doing is you're kind of like exposing people over time in small bits. And then over time, once they've had a few experiences, now they're primed, they're ready to go, and they're excited about, they're curious. So I think that's very cool. Have you ever had any kind of challenges in actually accepting Bitcoin, either over Lightning payments? You mentioned a couple times when you were setting up your BTC Pay server that you were kind of concerned about liquidity there. And I know as a hotel, you're doing larger, payment volume. If you're not doing like $5 payments all the time, you're doing bigger payments. So how has that worked for you over Lightning in the last year or so?
Yeah, I first want to add something to what you just said about the orange pilling process here in the hotel. So the thing which we do different here, our approach is we don't just speak to people on an intellectual level. We try to take all senses into the orange pill process. So we have like the eyes, so there's Bitcoin art all around the hotel. Then also, I mean, you can really touch it because we have like Bitcoin mascot here, or we have like even Bitcoin miners here, and you can really go there. You can see the warmth because we are heating our breakfast room here with Bitcoin miners. You can go there, you can experience, oh, there is heat coming out. And also we have like little gimmicks like a Bitcoin cappuccino. There is a cappuccino with a Bitcoin symbol on it. And oftentimes you can talk with people for hours, but then you make them a silly Bitcoin cappuccino and they are instant orange pilled. So it's really like this full process of taking all your senses within and also catching people with the emotions. So yeah, because people because we just have this different approach of orange pilling, and it's almost too easy to orange pill here people because the infrastructure is so perfectly set up. You can just see this orange pill lamp here. If you look inside it, you're instantly orange pilled. And yeah, this is really different here, our approach. And also we never go proactive on the plebs or on people because they always, when they are at the right time, at the right place, they will ask the questions. And then if they ask the questions, we can answer them everything, and we can just say, hey, here is everything. You can just get your Lightning wallet, and then you can here trigger the jukebox. And we even have a QR code where you can get your first Satoshis. If you scan it, you just get your first 21 Satoshis. And the setup process here is really smart and and really cool. So this was for the first part, and then the question was, what are the problems, or did we have like some challenges? So yeah, I already mentioned like the liquidity thing, but since we switched to OpenNode, there were no failed payments. We just had successful payments, and if payments are failing, most of the time, 90% of the time, it's because people use Lightning wallets, and the Lightning wallets are behind Tor, or their node is not running. So most of the time, it's really like from the customer side and not from our side. This is our experience with with the tech stuff. And probably also, which is interesting to mention, for the hotel rooms, we mostly have on-chain payments, because the hotel rooms are in the range between 100 and, let's say, 1,000 euros. But on the Satoshi bar, the microtransactions, the beers, the colas, and everything, we have almost 100% Lightning transactions.
Very cool. Oh yeah, right. So because OpenNode will let you do either on-chain or Lightning, and then for Satoshi Bar, you're basically exclusively doing Lightning stuff.
Yes, exactly. And to just finish up, I think the biggest challenge for everyone is always like their own mindset, because we always have like our mindsets, what we can do, what we cannot do. And also, like, we at the hotel, we had like this mindset, oh, we have a hotel and you have to do it like this, and you don't can do this and that. And when you free up from this belief sets, then you really can go into new areas. And this is also like here in Germany, lots of people are like scared. I mean, it's not just in Germany, it's everywhere. If you go like on new roads, because we just been like on the highway for like 30 years, and then we just made the turn, and we just were discovering new routes, and then it's like not like in the playbook, then things start to get crazy, and you must really be like innovative or must be creative. And people are scared of those processes, but they are just so rewarding, because in my opinion, if you're not living your passion, then you're wasting your time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, so you get rewards in terms of fulfillment, and you can kind of like nudge people towards this really cool vision that you see and appreciate now. But I imagine there's also financial rewards to taking this approach, and branding yourself as the Bitcoin Hotel. Can you speak to the additional business this has generated for the hotel? Have you seen an uptick in actual flows of capital into the business because you've now branded as a Bitcoin Hotel? And if you're able to share any numbers on sats stacked through any of these initiatives, that would be, I think, helpful for listeners.
Yes, so this is a really important thing, because what I often see in the Bitcoin space is that companies are like startups, and they are there are venture capitalists behind the companies, but they are not really doing money. And for me, it is really important to also be like profitable, because just if you have a profitable company, then other companies around will start to see, oh, this really makes sense, this is financially smart. And if you're just like doing it for the ethos, yeah, we are Bitcoiners, we are blabs, I mean, this is cool and you can do it for some years, but to really showcase that Bitcoin is working, also you have to do profits. And Mises said this, he said like, the profits are signed to the market that you are creating value for the community. And therefore, in my opinion, it's not just, I mean, this is good if you have like all this Bitcoin ethos, but doing profits is also important. And we added revenue on top, so we still have like our normal customer base, but on top there are now lots of Bitcoiners coming. It's hard to say in exact numbers, because the problematic with which we have, last year we had 8.5% Bitcoin payments, which is pretty cool if you ask me, for the first year. And the thing is, lots of Bitcoiners coming to the Bitcoin Hotel are not ready to spend their sats yet. So they still want to spend their shitty fiat money. So it's hard to say how much revenue on top we created, because lots of Bitcoin blabs, they pay with dollars or with euros, but they actually came for the Bitcoin Hotel. So I can't say the exact numbers, but what I can tell you is that, I mean, I can't say you the exact numbers, but we definitely make, like, let's say between 1 and 10 Bitcoin is a number which we already created in this process of being this Bitcoin Hotel. So it's really a number which is not like just rand noise.
Yeah, that's really impressive. And I really like what you said there about, making sure that if in order for other businesses to see that you're for other businesses to want to accept Bitcoin, they need to see that you are having success. I really like that point. That's kind of the best thing as a Bitcoin business you can do is show that economically we are succeeding and we are using Bitcoin. And if you, as another business, as a competitor or as an adjacent business, want to see that same growth and success, maybe you should consider also, integrating Bitcoin into your business too. I think it's a really powerful signal to say that we are actually not only are we using Bitcoin because it's cool and it's fun and it's like this new thing, but it's also driving real meaningful growth for our business. I want to maybe talk about what you do, how you speak with other businesses in the area. Anyone who's come to you and said, hey, we're interested in Bitcoin. We see you're having success. We want to kind of take the first steps. How do you get them involved? What's your pitch to them?
I mean, I'm not really pitching it because the people, they come automatically to us. So for me, the it's really like be the change you want to see in the world. And if you are the change and if it's working, then people automatically start to ask questions. And so in the beginning, really, I was talking with all the people like one by one, but right now we have so many messages coming in. So we just started to outsource this. So we're making podcasts like this, and then we just can send them the links and then they can listen to it. And if they have deeper questions, then also we can answer them. But yeah, we don't really have time anymore to go like on one-on-one sessions with each person, which is actually a thing that is pretty fun, but time is scarce as well as Bitcoin, and you have to set priorities. And that's actually how we handle this.
Makes sense. So, if you were to leave people with advice here, anyone listening to this conversation is interested in maybe exploring integrating Bitcoin with their own business, do you have any advice on, first steps they should be taking, things that you did wrong at first that you would change, things that you wish you had done differently? Any advice at all for folks who are considering integrating Bitcoin into their business?
So one tip I can give you is be 100% authentic, because the Bitcoiners, they really can sense, are you authentic or do you just want to make money? And the next thing would be like really go in hand, really like connect with the community. So the community is really so strong, and you don't also have to do everything by yourself. Just let go and also free yourself of your ego and of your ideas, because the community, they will bring so much ideas into your business. To just accept Bitcoin. By accepting Bitcoin, you will open up the doors for collaborations, for synergy effects. And so it's just like the sign to the market, hey, we are here Bitcoiners. Then you open the doors, and then you just see and go organically with what comes into your business. And people want to collaborate in this Bitcoin space, because this is this cool thing here about this Bitcoin thing, because it's not like a zero-sum game like in the fiat world. The people, they think, oh, there's a cake and in finite cake, and if I take something from the cake, then I steal it from somewhere else. And the Bitcoiners, they know the cake as it is growing, and there is enough cake for everyone. And if we collaborate, we can profit all, and we are all working on the same thing, all working on this great thing that is bigger than we are. And therefore, collaborate, be authentic, and just kickstart it, and don't be afraid.
Well, this is a really inspiring story. I'm sure folks listening in are going to enjoy hearing this as well. I've really enjoyed this conversation. Where can folks go to learn more about you and the Bitcoin Hotel?
So we have our Twitter channel. We will put it in the show notes, I guess. Then we have our homepage. It's hotel-princess.de. And we have also just started a YouTube channel. And also we have, like, if you just type in Bitcoin Hotel in YouTube, we have like lots of covered materials from conferences, workshops, and speeches, panels and everything. You will find lots of things on YouTube too.
Very cool. And if anyone is in Germany, you are, I believe, based just outside of Stuttgart. Is that correct?
Yes, we are South Germany, so it's close to Stuttgart. It's called Blochingen. And if you are here, just, come here, spend your Bitcoin, experience Bitcoin. We are always happy to meet with Bitcoiners. And also, if you can, I would really advise everyone to come to a conference here, because this is something completely different than like a big conference, which lots of people know, where you are in a sterile type of area. And here you have like this Bitcoin setup, and it's just so familiar. It's a complete different experience than like a other convention or conference. So I really can recommend this. If you have the chance to come to a conference here, come to a Bitcoin conference, because this is mind changing or life changing.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today, and keep on stacking sats.
Thank you. Bye bye.